Hi everybody and welcome to my kitchen. It's me, Manny from Manny's Made at Home, and in my channel I love to share with you some simple or over the top but totally delicious recipes to share with your friends and family. We're still in the run up to Valentine's Day and nothing says love like chocolate, so I'm going to show you how to make a delicious triple chocolate layer cheesecake with raspberry coulis. Let's look at the ingredients that we're going to need. Alright, the first thing we have to do is prep our pan. I'm using a springform pan because it's much easier to take out the cheesecake once it's done. I'm gonna butter lightly the sides and the bottom. You may not need to do this. I've never really had any issues with cheesecake sticking, but it's always good to have that bit of insurance. And I just want to show you also, my springform pan actually, the base should go this way, but there's a little bit of a lip at the edge. So when the cheesecake is done, I want to be able to slide this off onto a plate, so I'm actually gonna invert it and put my cheesecake in there. I'm also gonna go in with some baking paper. So I'm just gonna put it on top here and then put my sides on top. And I'm gonna clamp my sides so it's nice and taut in there. And then I'm just gonna cut off the excess. There, perfect. Right, and next I'm gonna go in with my digestive biscuits and I want to get them nice and crumbly. So I'm gonna put them into my food processor. I'm using plain digestive biscuits here because there's so much chocolate in the cheesecake that I want something to contrast a little bit. So I'm just gonna pulse this. This is the type of consistency that you want. So then we're gonna go in and add in our melted butter and continue to pulse. And again, this is what you want, kind of like a wet sand type of texture. Just gonna get my biscuits and put them into my tin. And using a glass, I'm gonna flatten them into the base. This is a little biscuit because I want my base to go up the sides as well. I'm pressing the biscuits to the bottom, trying to get them as flat as possible and onto the sides as well. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. This is one of those things where it's very easy to get carried away and trying to get absolutely perfect. It doesn't really matter as long as you get it nice and kind of flat at the bottom and you don't have any kind of much thicker parts on the sides either. But what we're gonna do now is put this in the fridge and let it set while we get the rest of our ingredients ready. I'm gonna move on to make our filling now, and this is simple but it can be a little bit finicky. So first what I'm doing is I want to weigh how much my bowl weighs. So then I know when I'm dividing up my batter how much should go into each layer. So once I do that, then I can go in with my cream cheese and get that all straight in there. To this I'm gonna add my caster sugar. And I'm gonna beat it up until it's nice and smooth. Now I'm gonna add in my heavy cream. And again, mix this up until it's nice and smooth. All right, now I'm gonna weigh my bowl again with all of the cream cheese mixture in there. It's 2,748 grams. So I'm gonna take away the weight of my bowl and then divide that times 3, and that's how I'm gonna split up my cream cheese mixture. Alright, so I have this ready, so I'm gonna go and melt my dark chocolate. I'm gonna do this in stages because I don't want my mixture to sit with the melted chocolate and the gelatin because it's gonna harden while we're waiting for each layer to set. But I'll show you how we do every step of the way. Okay, I'm gonna prepare my dark chocolate layer first. You can do it in whatever order you want, but I would recommend to do the dark chocolate first because if there's any kind of like seepage or anything like that, if the lighter color goes into the darker one, you're not gonna notice it. So I'm gonna break up my chocolate a little bit and then I'm gonna melt this in the microwave. Okay, my chocolate's almost melted there, so I'm just gonna give it a bit of a stir to let the last bits of it to melt down. So next, let's move on to prepare our gelatin. Today I'm gonna use some powdered gelatin to help to set my cheesecake. Just follow whatever the instruction says because it differs by manufacturer. So mine says to take a teaspoon and put it into cold water and give it a whisk until it's nicely dissolved. And then I'm gonna heat this up in the microwave again. Okay, now that it's hot, it's already become nice and thick, so you need to work quickly because this sets very, very quickly. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mix this into my chocolate and then incorporate the chocolate into the cream cheese mixture. Because I wanna work quickly, I'm actually gonna do it with the hand mixer, but I don't wanna over whip the cream anymore. My base is looking nice and firmer already because it was in the fridge, so I'm just gonna put my dark chocolate mixture in. It's nice and thick, so I'm gonna spread it a little bit with my spatula and try to get it as even a layer as you can. Try to work quickly, but also be careful. You can see some of my crumbs from the base are falling into my mixture. I don't really want to have a lot of that. Okay, that's as flat as I can get it, so I'm gonna put it into the freezer now for 15 minutes while I do exactly the same thing with my milk chocolate. So first I'm gonna break up my milk chocolate, then I'm gonna melt it in the microwave. Melt, melt, melt. Now into the gelatin, give it a whisk. and heat up in the microwave for like 5 to 10 seconds, otherwise it will set too quickly. Add to the chocolate and onto the cream cheese and whip it up. I've taken my cheesecake out of the fridge already, and you can see how quickly the top layer is set, or sorry, the bottom layer is set. So I'm gonna go in with my milk chocolate now, and again spread it out as evenly as you can. Okay, and into the freezer for another 15 minutes. Okay, we do one more time. White chocolate this time, melt it in the microwave, add in the gelatin, mix with the cream cheese, beat it up into your pan and smooth out the top. Into the fridge we go for 3 hours. We want everything to be nice and set, but in the meantime there's one more thing that I'm going to show you how to do. Okay, I'm going to show you how to make a quick raspberry coulis for our cheesecake. The tartness of the raspberries is going to help us to cut through all that richness of the chocolate. It's going to be delicious, and it's so simple to make. I have a blender, and I'm going to put in my frozen raspberries in there, and I'm going to blitz them a little bit. Now I'm going to add in my powdered sugar, and I want to add in some lemon juice and blitz that again. Okay, our raspberries have broken down a little bit, so now I'm gonna go and reduce them in a pan. And I'm just gonna reduce this down on a low heat. I'm using frozen raspberries because it's gonna give me a thicker sauce. And the flavor just seems to be so much more concentrated as well. I can smell that raspberry aroma and how tart it's gonna be. It smells delicious. Okay, it's ready now, and I'm just gonna put it through a sieve. Normally I would make double this amount, but I wanted to save my raspberries for another recipe that I've got planned. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on the video when it comes out. Okay, and so it's ready. I'm gonna put this into a nice jug and put it in the fridge to set. I had my cheesecake setting in the freezer while I was making my coulis, but I don't want a frozen cheesecake, so I'm gonna transfer it to the fridge. But first I'm gonna get some fresh raspberries and just put them on the top. I wanted to do this now before the top layer gets too set, and then the raspberries won't really stick. It can be as simple as that. You can keep going with the raspberries, but I like how this is looking, so I'm gonna put it in the fridge now, and I will see you in about 3 hours. Okay, it's time. Let's try to mold our cheesecake. Just to show you, it is nice and firm on the top, so it should be set by now. And that looks perfect. Okay, so the baking paper really helped me to move it out of the springform pan. Now I'm gonna cut a bit of the excess of the baking paper off, and then we'll be ready to cut a slice. Okay, it's the moment of truth. Let's see how it looks like inside. I am so nervous. I am chuffed that is the perfect slice. All right, and I'm gonna go in with a bit of our raspberry coulis as well on top. I have been waiting for this moment for the longest time. Let me give this a try. It just looks unreal. You can taste the difference in the flavors of the different layers, but each chocolate layer has a slightly different texture as well, and it's so pleasant when you put it in your mouth. I love the contrast of that raspberry coulis against the chocolate. It is so good, it's so smooth, and you do get a bit of that crumbliness from the base as well. This is an absolute winner. It doesn't get any better than this. It's absolutely beautiful. It totally looks the part. You've got the perfect even layers of the different chocolate cheesecake filling, and it just tastes absolutely divine. This just screams love to me. If you enjoyed this recipe, make sure you leave me a comment down below what you thought of it. Give me a like and share it with all of your friends. Please give this recipe a try and post it on Instagram, and make sure that you tag me. I love to see that you guys try out my recipes and what you think of them. If you want to see some more of my dessert recipes, I will leave some videos linked over here. With that, I'll leave you for this video, and enjoy and have a fantastic Valentine's Day. Bye bye.